Hey guys, this is Steve again. So I want to show you a project I did. I'll show you at the very end, and you can see where we go. We're basically building a kid's fort. We're going to go through some photos. This is a couple photos of it at the end. So basically, we have three levels. You walk in here, you go up a ladder. There's a level here. There's another ladder here that goes up to this upper level. It has a water gun on it. It's got a one of those little like a ladder and a swing, and you see it's got a big huge peak to it, and here's a slide. You can see here's the ladder. So I'm going to show you how we built this. The cool thing about this is we built the whole thing with no fasteners. The whole thing is mortise and tenon. So we're going to go through this real quick. So first thing we did is we made a plan. So you can buy this dimensional lumber. There's sizes for 1x6s, 2x4s, and 4x4s. And my daughter and I made this model because I wanted her to decide how it was going to go. And it was mostly an exercise in that you could design something and then build it for her. So we made a model. Just use hot melt glue, and then we started working. And you can see here she's helping. This is a long time ago, and you can see some of the components there. Test fitting some of the mortises and tenons, and there's the ladder. Here we are working on it. You can see here. You see some of the joints here in the corners. A lot of planning goes into this stuff, but basically you just have to cut a lot of grooves and a lot of holes and a lot of notches. And so this giant 2x12 here is dovetails. Those are all dovetails for the flooring joists, if you will. And then here's some more pictures. There's a rope we got from one of the neighbors. They were doing some of the planning. Mom was helping. Here I had some neighbors that came over, wanted to learn how to do it and help out. For a lot of the joints we cut by hand. Sometimes we used routers to groove things out, but a lot of them we just used Japanese chisels and a hammer. And here you see we're gluing a couple of them up. We used a combination of Tight Bond 3, which is the exterior Tight Bond, and then we also used epoxy mixed with West System epoxy mixed with colloidal silica, and both joints lasted in the exterior, you see, for 14 years. We just took this thing down, and I took some of the joints apart, sawed them apart, and they were still perfect after 14 years. They weren't even dark. The wood was still like new. So the stuff really does work. We had a barn raising. We had everyone help us come in with the components, and believe it or not, we assembled the whole thing in about an hour and a half. So we had the two big side pieces, and then we put in these cross pieces, and they were pegged and glued, and that drew everything together. And we had some roots to remove there for the back part of it, and of course the kids were trying things out, and so was Mom. And there's kind of the finished version of it. So if we zoom in on this, you can see we still have the clamps on it in one spot here, but you can see basically it's all done. And this is all after an hour and a half. We have the peak, and there's, we put a canvas up over this deck here. We still have to put the ladder in, but basically that's all there is to it. And the cool thing is, once you paint it, it looks great, and it lasted a long time. We only painted it once in 14 years. And you see we made these little ladders out of poplar, and same deal, mortise and tenons. If I zoom in on the ladders, you see we have a little support underneath the boards. That's in a tenon, so is the ladder itself, the step. And we just made a little jig, and we cut them all at once. We have a copper pipe running up here for water, for the water gun. We made a little squirt gun and water cannon for it. We got the rope tied up on there, and we did have to use a fastener, I think, to put this bottom support in. We put a screw up through the bottom for the slide, but that's the only metal that's holding anything together. Of course, there's fasteners for these handholds and whatnot, but I'll have to say it was actually a very cool project. It was inexpensive, in terms of materials, but it took a lot of time. Cutting all those mortises took a long time. And that's it. I just thought I'd show this off. It's kind of a cool project. Design it yourself.